looking at the bullpen too, because we're talking a lot about the rotation, but I want to dive into this bullpen too, because is Keegan Thompson, like, is this just his role? Like, coming out in this situation, he seems so legit, man. He's not the only guy in the bullpen that I want to talk about, but him kind of doing this piggyback role, like, he's solid. Like, I love what Keegan's doing this year. How do you feel about Keegan?
I think he's the toughest one to kind of evaluate because we've watched him go into the starting rotation and be so, right? And I think there are guys in the league that you put him in a situation like Keegan's in now, and with how young he is. I was talking about this with Ron on the last episode. The makeup for him to do that job, I think, is more impressive than being a starter. Because Keegan has no clue what situation he'll be coming into the game, what time of the game he'll be coming in. And I think the hardest thing to do as a young pitcher is to control your emotions based on the moment. You know, you come in with runners on, or you come in a clean inning. You know, there's different situations that are, you know, needing certain emotions and certain, you know, levels of poise, I think is the best way to put it. You know, he comes in with an open inning. It's like, hey, man, like, I'm going to go 3 here. I'm going to try to get, you know, maybe 3 ground ball outs to keep my pitch count down. You know, or, hey, man, I need a double play here. You know, so I got to throw this pitch because there's runners on first and third. And we've seen that from Keegan. Like, Keegan could come in and clean it up a little bit too. And I think that, like,
he could strike out everybody if he needs to. Too. It looks like do whatever.
And I think that, like, there is such a value to that in today's, you know, MLB, especially when it's like the starters, because we could see it now. Like, and I'm not going to blame. I don't think that you're going to get the level of depth this whole year from the MLB, but it's clear that, like, starters are just not going as far as they did even 10 years ago. I mean, I remember, you know, even go back to 03, like 120 pitches for Pryor and Wood was like, yeah, he's got another 10 in him. You know, like, can you imagine like getting a little of that today? Like, no, they don't do that anymore.
You'd be lucky if you get 90 out of guys now.
Yeah. Like, so crazy. Just to, like, have a guy like that where you can throw in there if you're down 7 runs and you have a day-night doubleheader tomorrow, you know, like, and say, hey, Keegan, dude, get me to the end. You know, like, I need you to save my pen. And he'll do that. And then he'll come back the next day and give you 1 or give you a hitter. You know, I think that the level of flexibility that he has, I think, is endless. And I also think it's endless value too. You can almost make the argument that is the most important, you know, pitcher on the staff right now, because if he's able to do that, then you've equipped yourself with a Josh Hader. And, like, imagine having that level out of your bullpen with guys that, you know, we talked about it, are down in, you know, the minors right now who are going to contribute. You know, you know, Braylon Marquez we've talked about him maybe being a closer down the line, considering that he's had some issues, you know, staying healthy as a starter. You know, Burrow Caraway, who throws like 103, if he can ever figure out how to find the strike zone. You know, there's a lot of guys down there that, like, project as, like, the late guys, but there's not a Keegan Thompson, right, that projects, like, multiple innings. Because I don't think Braylon's going to be that guy if you move him to the closer role. You're going to tell him, hey, man, you're going to come in, you're going to throw 102. Like, you're going to leave it all out there for 1 inning. You know, and I think it's so hard to find guys who are comfortable in that role who also want to contribute that way and not be a starter. Like, imagine, like, how easy it is for Keegan just to think, man, like, I do this 3 times a week and I come in for 3 innings. I pitch 9 innings at no run ball. Man, I could be getting $140 million, $200 million, $300 million being a starter if I just move to the starting rotation. But I think Keegan's kind of identified a market that Josh Hader kind of and you know, the guy Andrew Miller kind of, you know, identified even before him, that, like, these 3 inning guys,
fireman role.
Yeah, these 3-inning guys that come in and shut it down, and you got no chance because when you see him on the mound that you're not scoring and you're down 2 runs, puts a panic because now you're in the 9th and you're facing 104. Good luck, squaring that up for a lot of these guys. And I think that's a great role for Keegan, and I hope that it stays that way. I hope this front office and David Ross don't start to get cute and go, I wonder, maybe he just had a bad stretch of outings last year when he got the chance, and now they're going to throw him back into the rotation and say, hey, go at it, man. And then if he struggles, then that confidence is ruined. And I think that's just as valuable. That's just as valuable as having the arsenal that he has.